We are going to discuss and develop continuous time Fourier transform. However, before we do that, let's have a quick overview of what we have done so far and where we are heading to next. We can classify the signals into continuous time and discrete time. Voltages and currents in electrical circuits are some examples of continuous time signals. Discrete time signals are mostly used and we encounter them in digital signal processing. Then we can classify the signals into periodic and aperiodic categories. Periodic signals repeat themselves. There is a periodicity associated with them, and that periodicity is captured by the time period of the signal. For continuous time periodic signals, we represent the time period by capital T, and generally it is a real number. For discrete time periodic signals, the time period is represented by capital N and it is an integer number. Aperiodic signals, they do not repeat themselves. Finite energy signals are an important type of aperiodic signals. Fourier series allows us to expand periodic signals as a superposition of complex exponentials. Complex exponentials are eigenfunctions of LTI systems. Here I have written down the synthesis equation for continuous time periodic signal. We have represented xt as a superposition of complex exponentials weighted by a sub k's, and a sub k's are the Fourier series coefficients which we find with the help of analysis equation. These a sub k's, they are also known as the spectral coefficients of the signals because ak tells us the contribution of kth harmonic frequency in the makeup of the signal xt. Similarly, here I have written down the synthesis equation for discrete time periodic signal, and this is the analysis equation for the discrete time periodic signal, and these AKs once again tell us the contribution of kth harmonic frequency in the makeup of discrete time periodic signal xn. We highlighted similarities as well as some important differences between the continuous time Fourier series representation and discrete time Fourier series representation. One thing that we should keep in mind, the Fourier series coefficient AKs in discrete time Fourier series, they are always periodic. They themselves are periodic. On the other hand, in continuous time Fourier series, the Fourier series coefficients themselves, they need not be periodic, and in general they are not periodic. We discussed some properties of continuous time Fourier series and discrete time Fourier series. There were largely a lot of similarities in the properties. Now, what if we want to have the representation of continuous time aperiodic signals as the superposition of complex exponentials? Here we notice that Fourier series, we do not have a Fourier series representation because Fourier series representation is only possible for periodic signals. For that, we will develop continuous time Fourier transform. And we will see that once we have the continuous time Fourier transform for continuous time aperiodic signals, then continuous time periodic signals can also be represented with the help of continuous time Fourier transform. So for continuous time Fourier transform will provide us a unified framework for the analysis of periodic as well as aperiodic continuous time signals. Then later on we will develop discrete time Fourier transform for discrete time aperiodic signal representation as superposition of complex exponentials. And we will extend discrete time Fourier transform to cover discrete time periodic signals as well. So continuous time Fourier transform will be one framework that will be used for aperiodic as well as periodic continuous time signals. Similarly, discrete time Fourier transform will be a unified framework for periodic as well as aperiodic discrete time signals. Now, we will first discuss continuous time Fourier transform for continuous time aperiodic signals. And here is the basic idea behind the Fourier transform development. We will think of an aperiodic signal as the limit of a periodic signal as the period becomes arbitrarily large. And we examine the limiting behavior of the Fourier series representation for this signal. So what this means is that if we are given a periodic signal xt, we will create a periodic signal x tilde t for which xt will be one period of x tilde t. Then as the time period of x tilde t becomes larger, x tilde t will be equal to xt for more and more values of time. And in the limit, when capital T approaches infinity, x tilde t will be exactly equal to xt for any finite value of time. Now we apply the idea for Fourier transform development on this aperiodic signal xt. I have drawn it to be of an arbitrary shape here. We take copies of this signal, we choose a time period capital T, and then we place the copies of this signal periodically, and we construct x tilde t. By construction, x tilde t is periodic with time period capital T and fundamental frequency omega naught, which is 2 pi divided by capital T. If we look at both the signals together, then x tilde t is equal to xt for a limited values of time. However, if we increase the time period of x tilde t, then x tilde t will become equal to xt for a larger values of t. And in the limit when the time period of x tilde t approaches infinity, x tilde t will be exactly equal to xt wherever we look at on the time axis. So in the limit when capital T approaches infinity, x tilde t is equal to xt for all the finite values of time. Let us put it down here. In the limit when capital T, the time period of x tilde t approaches infinity, x tilde t becomes xt. And now we are interested in writing the Fourier series expansion for x tilde t, the periodic signal that we constructed from the aperiodic signal, and we will see the behavior of the Fourier series equations in this limit when the time period approaches infinity. So let us start out by writing the synthesis equation for x tilde t, k equal minus infinity to infinity a sub k is e to the power jk omega naught t. We call this synthesis equation number 1. And then let us write out the analysis equation 1 divided by t. We integrate over one complete time period of the periodic signal x tilde t, multiply it with e to the power minus jk omega naught t times dt. And here we choose the period of integration, interval of integration from minus t by 2 to t by 2. So let me put the limits of this integration. Now once again comparing x tilde t with xt, in this interval of integration, x tilde t and xt are same. Therefore, in this interval on which we are integrating, x tilde t and xt are same, so I can replace here x tilde t with xt, e minus jk omega naught t times dt. And then xt is 0 for all the values of t which are greater than capital T by 2. So we can write the analysis equation in which the limits of integration now goes from minus infinity to infinity, xt times e to the power minus jk omega naught t times dt. So far, we have just written the synthesis equation for periodic signal x tilde t, then the analysis equation, and in the analysis equation, we chose this interval of integration. We observed that x tilde t in this integration interval is equal to xt, and then by noting that xt is 0 for all the values of t which are greater than plus t by 2 and which are less than minus t by 2, we can change the limits of this integration in the analysis equation from minus infinity to infinity. Okay, then let me just put this integral inside the brackets. In the analysis equation, what we are doing, we are multiplying xt with a complex exponential e raised to power minus jk omega naught t. The complex exponential is at frequency k omega naught t. Now, let us define a new function. Let us define a new function that we call capital X j omega, which is similar in construction to this bracketed integral minus infinity to infinity xt e to the power minus j omega t dt. This is our new definition of capital X j omega. And we notice that if in this definition, if we evaluate this new function at omega is equal to k omega naught, then we will get the term in the bracket. That is, we can determine this bracketed term by evaluating this function at omega is equal to k omega naught minus infinity to infinity xt e to the power minus jk omega naught t times dt. With this definition, we find or we define another way of finding the Fourier series coefficients. That is, we can find the kth Fourier series coefficient by computing the value of capital X j omega at k omega naught. So somehow, if we know this function capital X j omega, then using this function we can evaluate the Fourier series coefficients, or we can find the Fourier series coefficient by computing this function at omega is equal to k omega naught. Okay, and let us do one more step. 1 divided by t, I can replace it with omega naught divided by 2 pi times x j k omega naught. Let's call this equation number 2, and now we plug equation number 2 into our synthesis equation number 1, and the function I defined here, x capital X j omega, let me call this function a. Okay, so when we put it in x tilde t, we get 1, and after some rearrangement of the terms, 1 divided by 2 pi summation k equal minus infinity to infinity x j k omega naught e to the power j k omega naught times omega naught. So we have written the synthesis equation in terms of a new function capital X j omega. But our objective is to see the behavior of this equation in this limit, because when capital T approaches infinity, x tilde t will become equal to xt. So let us see what happens to the right hand side of this equation when capital T approaches infinity. The left hand side, it becomes equal to xt. But how this right hand side of this equation transforms in this limit, and that will give us the synthesis equation for the Fourier transform. So we already know that in this limit, when t approaches infinity, x tilde t is equal to xt, and we are interested in the right hand side now. If you look at the right hand side, then as capital T approaches infinity, because of the inverse relation omega naught, it approaches 0. And we can immediately notice that the right hand side, it passes to an integral. So if we recall calculus and the limits of the Riemann sum, then the right hand side, it will pass into an integral. Each term in this summation, we can consider it as the area of a rectangle of height x j k omega naught multiplied by e raised to power j k omega naught t. This becomes the area of the rectangle, and width is omega naught. And therefore, as omega naught approaches 0, the summation converges to the integral of capital X j omega multiplied by e j omega t. So therefore, left hand side is equal to xt, and the right hand side is 1 divided by 2 pi integral minus infinity to infinity x j omega e to the power j omega t d omega. And notice that x j omega that we defined as equation A, it has reappeared here in this equation. Let us put this in this box. We call this equation B. And let me write again equation A from top, minus infinity to infinity xt e to the power minus j omega t times dt. This was my equation A. And let us now look at the synthesis equation. What this synthesis equation is telling us. The synthesis equation says that a periodic signal xt is made up of a superposition of all these complex exponentials. And instead of discrete frequencies, now the signal comprises of a continuum of all these frequencies. And the magnitudes of every complex exponential in this continuous sum is equal to 1 divided by 2 pi times capital X j omega times d omega. Okay. This is synthesis equation for aperiodic signals, but we call it inverse Fourier transform. And capital X j omega, we call it the Fourier transform. This is similar to the analysis equation for aperiodic signals. So xt and capital X j omega, they form a Fourier transform pair. We can, given time domain aperiodic signal, we can find the Fourier transform of this signal with the help of equation A. And from Fourier transform, we can synthesize the original signal using equation B. The difference from Fourier series, we have already highlighted, but once again, here in Fourier series, we have discrete frequencies. And the Fourier series coefficients, they are coefficients, they are not functions. On the other hand, for aperiodic signal, we have a continuous function as the Fourier transform of signal that we represent here by capital X j omega. So for aperiodic signals, the signal is a linear combination of complex exponentials. However, the complex exponentials occur at a continuum of frequencies, and the magnitude of these frequencies are 1 divided by 2 pi multiplied by capital X j omega times d omega. These are the magnitudes of these complex exponentials. And capital X j omega, this is the Fourier transform equation. This is another function in variable omega. And we also refer to it as the spectrum of xt. Spectrum of xt. And once again, I want to highlight that we have developed the Fourier transform and inverse Fourier transform, but in the process, we have also seen that Fourier series coefficients, we can compute the Fourier series coefficients of aperiodic, Fourier series coefficients of periodic signal with the help of capital X j omega. What we mean by this, if xt is aperiodic signal and we find its Fourier transform, that is for this signal, if we find capital X j omega with the help of this equation, then for x tilde t, which is periodic signal, the Fourier series coefficients, we do not have to apply the Fourier series equations again, Fourier series analysis equation. We don't need that Fourier series analysis equation. Instead, by sampling this capital X j omega at the harmonic frequencies k omega naught, we can get the values of these Fourier series coefficients.